Never let anybody see you sweat.
So I was born in New York City, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. I realized that I was a much better talker than I was a listener.
I don't know what to say, I just don't like what you're saying.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I ended up going to law school at Georgetown, and I was a prosecutor for Janet Reno. I loved it because it was so raw.
Were you cheating on her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All rise.
Our show will be a mixture of education, I think you're misreading the law a little bit, and entertainment. My main goal is justice and the law. That's been my legacy, and the legacy I hope to continue into the future with this show.
Dominique Wells claims her roommate renewed their lease, but left her name off and only gave her 3 weeks to move. Stacy Hernandez says Miss Wells refused to commit to another year in the apartment until it was too late.
Ms. Wells, you are suing your former roommate for $1,500 because, according to you, Ms. Hernandez kicked you out inappropriately, and so you want her to pay your moving expenses. How did you two know each other?
We actually met in college.
And were you good friends?
We were.
Did you live together in college?
We did. We dormed.
All right. How long had you been living together?
We had lived together for about 3 years in the dorm.
Right.
And then we had lived together for about a year in this apartment.
Okay.
And then everything ensued.
All right. So tell me what happens. You are living in Springfield, Pennsylvania. And that's where you went to college, and you are not happy about living in Springfield, Pennsylvania. And why are you not happy?
Because I feel like it's too small for me.
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to branch out and be more and have a better career. And personally,
what business are you in?
I'm in marketing. I went to school for marketing.
All right. And where do you want to be?
I want to be in New York specifically. I could be elsewhere, but I've always kind of dreamed of being in New York.
Have you ever lived in New York?
No.
Have you ever visited New York?
Once, but
Okay.
it was with family. It was short.
Okay. So you started applying to jobs in New York. The theory being, though, you were always going to complete your commitment to Miss Hernandez and stay here for the 1 year where your name was on the lease, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea was that you would move after that. So you apply for a job, and how does it go?
Basically, I applied to a lot of jobs, and I thought I was getting pretty far in one, and it didn't work out. They chose somebody else.
Okay. How many? Were there numerous rounds to that interview?
There were 4.
And you made it to what level?
4.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right. But now you have a lease, and your lease ends supposedly on what day?
April 30th, it was supposed to end.
Okay. And your landlord tells you that you have to decide whether you're renewing your lease by what day?
March 31st.
Okay. So what happens?
So while I'm going on these interviews, the 4 interviews for this company, I think I'm going to get it. And so he tells us that we have to let him know what we're doing, if we're staying, if we're leaving, but I don't know yet because I haven't gotten the job technically yet. And so I asked the defendant, Stacy, if she could hold off making a decision and hold off signing the lease agreement until I know, because I'm supposed to have my 4th interview before the 31st, before we're supposed to say. So I'm supposed to have my interview on March 29th.
Okay. Wow, that's not a lot of notice for her, though, either, but okay.
Right.
So what was she going to do if you got the job? Not your problem? Okay. So what happens?
So they ended up rescheduling my interview. So it didn't happen on the 29th. It happened on April 4th.
This is where Dominique starts outsourcing her responsibility. Rather than talk to the landlord herself, she asks Stacy to intervene again. Viewers, red flag. If your name's on the lease, your job prospects are uncertain, and the deadline is looming. ... Maybe don't push the burden onto your roommate. Judge Milian sees it, we see it, and soon Stacy will act on it.
So what did you discuss, if anything, with Ms. Hernandez once you found out about the rescheduling of the interview?
I told her about the rescheduling, and I asked her if she could talk to the landlord and see if he could.
Why don't you talk to the landlord? They seem to be all you problems. Like, I'm wondering why you're putting that in her hands.
She's always been super helpful to me.
Okay.
And so
you ask her to talk to the landlord. What specifically do you ask her to do?
I ask her if she can get him to wait a little while before we make a decision.
Okay. Was your landlord willing to wait? Because oftentimes they'll let you, if you explain it to them, they'll say, yeah, I'll give you another month, and then you can sign a lease next month. You're month to month for this month. But oftentimes they'll charge you because they know you're desperate. So did you ever have any discussions with the landlord about possibly doing that?
Yes, we did, or I did, and he said that it would be a $300 increase to do that.
Oh. Did you ever have that discussion with her?
No.
Did you know that no matter what, you didn't want to move and you wanted to stay there?
Yes.
What happens if she got the job?
I would find another roommate.
Okay, so you weren't worried about that?
No.
So what happens? You think that she's going to get her answers by the 31st. What happens?
She doesn't get her answers, so I decide to go ahead and sign the lease.
Did you tell her, look, I'm just going to sign the lease in my name. If you stay, you know, we'll add you on? Like, what were the discussions you had with her specifically?
I didn't tell her that I was going to sign the lease without her. I figured I could always add her onto the lease later on if she did not get the job. I needed to cover myself.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
I told her if she doesn't want to be here so bad, then she can be out by the end of the month.
That's pretty severe. Was she shocked or no?
Yeah.
And that's when you tell her, I signed the lease?
Yeah, I told her I took care of it.
And later,
had to call an ambulance for myself. I have a herniated disc now, and so I want to sue him for the hospital bill, the ambulance, and also the week of work I was out.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Dominique Wells, who was fighting with Stacy Hernandez over moving expenses.
What are you saying to her, though? She seems to be under this impression that you are basically just keeping the landlord at bay for her, and that you're saying, yeah, I'll ask him for more time. But if what you're doing instead is, look, I'm going to sign, and I'll sign in my own name. If you leave, you leave, and if you don't, we'll figure it out. Like, are you telling her any of your plans, or are you just going ahead? You signed the lease without telling her that you were going to sign the lease.
Well, I told her I would handle it, and I did. So I didn't tell her I
And that's the way you
would sign
chose
the
to
lease.
handle it. You signed the lease, and then you figured that if she stayed, you would add her on. Well, as it turns out, on April 4th, you find out that you didn't get the job, right? So she does stay. So what happens?
After she doesn't get the job, she had been complaining about being stuck with me, feeling like she hates the city, feeling like
Did she
doesn't
actually use
like
the word
living
stuck
here.
with you?
Yes.
Okay, so was she mad about you or being stuck in Springfield, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, she was upset about being in Springfield, Pennsylvania. She wanted to be somewhere else.
What else did she say or do that day?
She said that she didn't know that what she was going to do next, and she said that
She's still
felt
saying
really,
that.
yeah, she felt really stuck just in her life and in her relationships.
Okay.
I told her if she doesn't want to be here so bad, then she can be out by the end of the month.
That's pretty severe. Was she shocked or no?
Yeah.
And that's when you tell her, I signed the lease?
Yeah, I told her I took care of it and that I signed the lease. So I had already handled the issue.
So now you're the only one who can decide who gets to live there because the lease is in your name.
Exactly.
Which is not something you told her you were going to do. You just said, I'll handle it, and you handled it.
Here's the twist. By signing solo, Stacy now controls who lives in the apartment. Dominique's emotional argument, "We got this place together," no longer holds up. Legally, it's a clean break. Emotionally, it's a wreck. Stacy says she couldn't live with the constant negativity, and now she doesn't have to. But does that justify unilaterally removing someone without a real conversation? Let's debate.
Yes.
All right. So now you tell her she can't live there, and what does she say?
She says that she should be able to live there because we had gotten the apartment together in the first place, but I didn't believe that was the case because she was stating explicitly that she didn't want to be there.
And she didn't sign the lease.
No.
Did you talk to the landlord?
I eventually talked to the landlord, but it was...
Landlord's not going to get involved. The landlord's
No.
like, I got a lease from her. Who'd you move in?
I moved in with my friend Allie, or I asked her to move in with me.
Is it your testimony that if she would have told you, I didn't get the job, I can't believe it, I'll sign, you would have let her sign? It's the
Yeah.
whining and the complaining about a town that you love and saying, I'm stuck here with you, that made you change your mind about wanting to live with her?
Exactly. I can put up with complaints, but living with someone and never being able to escape it is too much, and I don't have to put up with that.
Are you referring to her complaining that she can never escape, or are you referring to you feeling like you couldn't escape?
I couldn't escape from her. The complaints started well before the interview process. This had always been her dream to get out of the state and to go to New York. So I had been hearing this for a long time. When she had not gotten the job, the complaints got worse and worse and worse that day.
Yeah.
And that was when I decided that I couldn't put up with this anymore.
Yeah. So you tell her she has to be out by the end of the month. You tell her that on April 4th, and you feel that she should pay your moving fees.
I do.
Why?
Because she only gave me 3 weeks to move.
And how much time does she have to give you to move in your state? Every state has different rules about how much time you have to give somebody before, because see, technically speaking, the only person who has a lease at that juncture, and you know that the landlord was demanding, answers by March 31st, or he was moving on. You told her handle it, she handled it. So if she's the one with the lease, she is technically, in a sense, your landlord when you're living there past the time when she signed the lease. So for the month of April, she's your landlord. Do you know how much time the law requires her in your state of Pennsylvania? How much notice she has to give you on your month-to-month tenancy?
I thought it was 30 days.
It's not. It's 15. But the thing is, it's not even a month-to-month tenancy because the thing ends on April 30th itself. So it's really not the way to look at it. The way to look at it is you have a lease. Your lease ends April 30th. You know it ends April 30th. You know the landlord has told you if you want to renew it, you have to tell me by March 31st, which is actually pretty good. In D.C., you have to tell them 2 months before, and in Miami, you have to tell them 2 months before. So otherwise, they just rent it to someone else. And then you just have to move when your lease is over. Mm-hmm. And there's no further notice. So the bottom line is, your lease was always going to be over April 30th. It was always going to be over. And what you're saying is, I deserve a right to continue living here because what? Because in order to continue living there past April 30th, you need to sign a lease, which is not anything you ever did. It's a pickle. I mean, it's not much of a pickle. It's a pickle for you. It's not a pickle for me. You know how this works. You have to have a lease. You don't get to live there past April 30th because you never signed a lease. The only person who signed a lease was Ms. Hernandez. So you don't get to live there past your original lease because you have no legal right to live there past your original lease. It really doesn't matter how many days notice she gave you. But even if we go under your theory, Pennsylvania only requires 15 days notice. So it still wouldn't matter. The bottom line is she doesn't have to pay for your moving expenses. This is what happens when you wait until the last minute. And maybe it's a good thing. Maybe this is the push you needed to get you out of a town that you don't want to live in. Verdict for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I'm not surprised. She never had a case to stand on.
I just don't agree, and I need that $1,500.
Coming up,
What is it that caused the ice? You say there was a leak?
There was a gutter. The gutter was broken. It was leaking.
Did you know that the gutter was leaking?
Oh, yeah.
How long had the gutter been leaking?
3 weeks, to my knowledge.
Dominique loses the case. And honestly, it was inevitable. Her legal argument rested on feelings, not facts. Judge Milian's verdict reinforces a powerful message. The law isn't emotional. It doesn't care who should have known, only who signed what and when. Dominique may feel betrayed, but the court sees it as a consequence. For anyone watching, let this be your lesson in Lee's law.
you're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. David Miller claims he suffered a painful fall on icy steps and missed work after his landlord failed to fix a leaky gutter. Jim Gates says he tried to hire a repair person, but no one could come because of the weather.
Mr. Miller, you were suing your landlord, Mr. Gates, for $3,400 because you were injured as a result of his negligence, correct?
Correct.
All right. You two live together?
No, I rent out the back house of his property.
Okay. And does he live there?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened?
It was winter, and there was ice forming on the stairs leading up to the house. And I put a buck can...
To just your part or his part too?
Just my entrance.
Okay.
There was a leak in the gutter, and it kept dripping down. I knew it was going to form ice. I knew it would be a hazard, so I put a coffee can there to collect the water. I went to work. I got home late. It was dark, and the coffee can was gone. I would try to walk up the steps. I slipped, had to call an ambulance for myself, and I have a herniated disc now. And so I want to sue him for the money for the hospital bill, the ambulance, and also the week of work I was out.
Did what is it that caused the ice? You say there was a leak?
There was a gutter. The gutter was broken. It was leaking.
Did you know that the gutter was leaking?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. How long had the gutter been leaking?
3 weeks, to my knowledge. I was trying to get some crews to come out to work on fixing the gutters. It was just snowstorm after snowstorm, and they wouldn't come and fix the gutters. And I told them, hey, like, there's this leak over here. Be careful.
You see the coffee can out there.
Yeah, if I may, Your Honor, that coffee can, he put that there to put his dirty cigarette butts in.
Was it under where the leak was?
He's saying that's where he put it, but I know that he was putting that coffee can out there before there was a leak.
Coming up,
Mr. Gates, you have a little bit of a cavalier attitude about what your duties are as a landlord. You're like, you know, exactly what can you show me you did in 2 weeks of knowing that this condition existed?
The coffee can debate may sound silly, but it highlights a bigger issue: deflection. Mr. Gates focuses on where the can was, but ignores the core issue, the hazard. You're the landlord, ice is forming on your stairs, and your tenant gets hurt. Whether the can was for water or cigarettes, the point remains. Did you take action? From the look of it, not really.
you're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of David Miller, who brought Jim Gates to court for negligence.
So what is your answer to, hey, you owe me $3,400 because you didn't take care of this in 2 weeks?
I'm accountable for his carelessness?
Well, no, the theory is that you're the landlord and you are accountable for dangerous situations and you should have taken care of it because it came to your attention or you knew it. According to you, you brought it to his attention. So why didn't you just fix it instead of doing nothing for 2 weeks?
Like I said, it was just crazy weather for 2 weeks straight. And
how did you fall?
I slipped on the second staircase. On the second stair, I stepped on it. I slid forward. I fell on my back. I now have a herniated disc. I had to go to the hospital. I have the hospital bill here as well.
Let me see
and
that.
also my bank statements to show that I didn't make money the week of the accident. Yeah.
Do you have any bank statements that show what you make? Oh, this one shows. What is this that I'm looking at?
That is my bank statement from my phone. I just did a screenshot.
And so it shows that you make $17.50 a week,
Correct.
working 40 hours,
Correct.
and you didn't make money on the week of the fall.
Correct.
It says it's a neurosurgical assessment for disc herniation. It doesn't say you have a herniated disc.
That's what the doctor had told me.
Do you have anything? Do you have your actual medical reports?
Just the bill.
Mr. Gates, you have a little bit of a cavalier attitude about what your duties are as a landlord. You're like, you know, exactly what can you show me you did in 2 weeks of knowing that this condition existed? Because at the end of the day, there was ice and he slipped on ice.
like I said, Your Honor, I called all kinds of roofing repair companies.
What evidence do you have of that? Do you have any phone records that would show that? Do you have any texts of conversations with any workers that would show that? Because you've come into court completely empty-handed to tell me what you did. It sounds like you did nothing.
Judge Milian's verdict when Justice for the People returns.
When he fell, how did you find out he fell?
I didn't find out about it until after the weekend I was out of town.
What did you expect was going to happen? Well,
I-
maybe now you can have a clear vision.
I just assumed that he would practice more caution.
How much
going up and
caution?
down
The guy knew that there was a problem. He was practicing caution. He wasn't. I mean, listen, everybody's hung up on the stupid can. I don't know that the can is relevant or not relevant. I know that the can was your doing, so it's nothing he did. So what did you do to stop there from being, you know, more ice? The one thing you did was move the can, which may have made it worse, may have not. But the bottom line is the repair has to be made. And if you're telling me nobody would come, you're going to have to prove that a little bit in court with anything, none of which you have. But he does have what he's out of pocket from the hospital. Why are you making faces? What do you think was going to happen? He does have the money he's out. He's literally out a week's work and the hospital bills. $3,400 verdict for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Justice served. David Miller wins $3,400, and rightly so. The court recognized that pain, medical bills, and lost wages aren't just unlucky, they're the direct result of landlord neglect. Mr. Gates failed his tenant, and now the law is holding him accountable. 2 cases, 2 outcomes, 1 truth, responsibility matters. What a ride from roommate fallout to icy lawsuits. We saw how friendships collapse when communication fails, and how negligence can cost you thousands. Dominique Wells lost her place and her case because she hesitated. David Miller won because he had proof, persistence, and the law on his side. If you found these breakdowns insightful, make sure to like this video, comment your take on each case, subscribe to our channel for more courtroom drama, legal insights, and truth bombs every week. This is Justice for the People, and we're just getting started.